Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is war, military shortages, and a Palestinian state. You know, I've been trying to get this warning out since 1987. I started studying Bible prophecy, I think it was like 76, somewhere in there. And then I've done, I guess, many years of radio and TV. We're on radio and TV for a long time. And it appears that 2024 is the year when most of this will start. I don't think I've ever said that. I don't think I've ever seen that. But now I think we are at the door. Now, before I get started, just a quick reminder, yes, we're asking for $77,000 in donations to come in. You can give $5 or $10, whatever the Lord leads your heart to give. What we're trying to do is to reach more people with the warning. And the way you do that is just click that little QR code or just shine your cell phone at it and touch the little yellow box that forms around the picture, and it'll take you over there. If you haven't done it, it's real simple, it's real easy. And you can make whatever donation you'd like to. Okay, so anyway, we have set a date for war in the north. Now, this is Israel talking, and they're saying that the war with Gaza and Hamas is not over, and what it's about to say is they aren't going to stop until every one of the Hamas people are dead. And then they're saying they're heading up to the north. They're going to go to war with Hezbollah up north of Israel after this is over. And then, this article I'm about to show you says that they also see a Palestinian state at the end of this war, which is what the prophecy says. Okay, so let's get started. December 13th, Israeli Defense Force has set a date for war against Hezbollah, that's to the north. According to covert intelligence sources in the Middle East, the IDF is experiencing far more trouble militarily in the north of the country than they are at the Gaza Strip. That's a surprise. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will issue a proposal for a, quote, agreed reality with Hezbollah, and if they reject that proposal, Israel will be forced to act militarily. I wish I had some answers for you about what that's going to happen, but I don't. All I know is that the prophecies seem to be indicating at the conclusion of this war, they'll be given a Palestinian state. And then oil will be discovered, and the oil will make the Jews willing to fight for the land. It'll also give them the money to build up their military. Then Israel and America will go against most of the rest of Islam, and Israel will emerge the great victor, and probably that's when America is destroyed. That's just a guess. That last part's a guess. All right. Global supplier of crucial electrical products announces 20-week delay in most important parts. Now, what's going on? We know that they're going to cut off the gasoline and the electricity, and they've stopped fertilizer shipments. They've done all kinds of things to disrupt our wonderful little United States of America. So why? They're doing this so that they can take control. It's called Ordo ab Chaos. If you get a copy of the book by Albert Pike called Morals and Dogma, which is kind of the Bible for the secret societies, on the front of it, at least on my copy, it said Ordo ab Chaos, which is Latin for order out of chaos. Chaos? What chaos? A chaos they create. In other words, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So they realize they have to break the old society based upon the Bible, and they have to bring in a new society, a new world order, which will be based upon Lucifer and what and is given to him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. So God allows this. Revelation 13 also says, and he gives to him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, powers given him to continue 42 months. So we are looking at evil about to take over our world, and apparently it could even start any day now, but apparently from all of the prophecies, all of the things in the natural I see, all from the inside information I have, apparently 2024 is the year we're going to start seeing big things, as in big bad things. So this global supplier is openly saying that it's got a 20-week delay. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, Schneider Electric, and I've heard of that all my life, is the second largest manufacturer of electrical components in the world. Things that they make are absolutely crucial to our daily lives, crucial to electrical infrastructure, industrial automation, programmable logic controllers. Okay, now, programmable logic controllers. What's that? That's what they need to distribute electricity. Your electricity that's coming to your house is going through things this company made. Without them, or if they were to go out or blow out, like maybe a suitcase new go off near them, it would take at least 2 or 3 years in a normal economy to get the replacement parts. But if many of them are all knocked out at the same time, probably, just my guess, reasonable guess, probably the electricity would never come on again, or most places never come on again. It goes on to say a 20-week delay for engineered to order products for Q1 next year. That's almost half a year delay. That means that public infrastructure, power grids, look at it carefully, power grids, the grids are not readily able to deal with this kind of manufacturing delay. In other words, if somebody goes in shooting up the power grids, those electrical stations down the road, okay, they go shooting those up, or if there's like an EMP, as in a suitcase and it go off, it's probably not coming back on. And it's probably not coming back on at least in the next 2 or 3 years, and it may take longer than that. The article goes on to say, war preparation. Preparation for the World War are clearly taking place in very many countries around the world. For the first time, U.S. citizens are likely to see the direct consequences of war on our own soil. In other words, foreign boots on our soil attacking us. Oh, I know. A lot of people say, I got my shooting arms. No, your shooting arms aren't going to be much good when it comes against RPGs, when it comes against some of the drones that attack from the sky. And I don't think, let's put it this way. If God wants to pull America down, God is going to go ahead and do it. And God wants to pull America down because she has sin all over it. It goes on to say, in Ukraine, Russia crippled their power grid and attacked their ability to make the tools of war. And most all war materials that were sent to Ukraine have come mostly from NATO countries, specifically America. In other words, we sent most, perhaps even all, of our military might over to Ukraine, and it's already been defeated by the Russians over there. Now imagine Russia striking U.S. infrastructure and our ability to make tools of war when our stockpiles have already been depleted going to Ukraine. Oh, let's not forget, Israel is toast without U.S. arms support. Now, Hal Turner, I'm going to disagree with you there because the Bible says that once Israel is in their land, they will never be uprooted again. America does not have an everlasting covenant, but Israel does. The Bible says as long as the sun is shining, there will always be an Israel. Even though she was scattered around the globe, God has gathered her back, and now in these last days, I can show you many scriptures, He's going to raise them up and bless them powerfully. So when you have God on your side, no one can defeat you, and of course that's the whole point of Armageddon, because the Russians, leading the world, brings all the world down to attack and defeat Israel, and that's when Jesus returns. So Israel has a carte blanche. Israel has a get out of jail free. Israel has a I'll win every war guarantee from God. America doesn't have that. But what is most concerning to me is that the U.S. has made no real efforts, I'll read that again, the U.S. has made no real efforts to truly ramp up production of war materials. Lots of talk, very little tangible action. In other words, Biden left $85 billion of our war equipment over in Afghanistan, and then has sent, I don't know how many billions of dollars worth over to Ukraine. So the problem is we forgot to get more of it manufactured. And sad parts, many of those parts needed to make them, why, they would have to come from overseas, specifically China. That's a big problem. It's like the U.S. is planning on just going straight to nuclear war. In other words, we don't have any in-between weapons. We sent them all over, well, not all, but most all of them, over to Ukraine already. But Russia air defense systems, however, have been proven to be the best in the world, and their likelihood of survival is much higher than the United States. Contacts I've had from my years intelligence community are telling me that the U.S. is too corrupt to survive what is coming. Well, even the sinners can see it. But real companies with very smart people, with analysts, with real MBAs see what is being prepared. The intel guys I've talked with tell me bluntly, USA has never been weaker than it is right now. I'll read that again. The USA has never been weaker than it is right now. In other words, we are ripe for an attack and a fall. I don't know how much is going to play out exactly, but this is the most dangerous time we've been in up to this point in American history, I'll say it that way. Because another source, unverified, told me that there are currently 35,000 terrorists in the country awaiting a go signal. That's probably a conservative number. You remember that Chris Reed was told there are 6 million people come across the border in Biden's administration. Not all of them are bad, but a lot of them are. Now let's go to the next article. Hamas leader gives conditions for peace talks amid conflict with Israel. So here is Hamas saying, look, if you want to have peace, this is what it's going to take. He says any final deal will have to lead to an independent Palestinian state. Well, la-di-da. That's what we've been saying. The Palestinian house must be put in order in the West Bank and Gaza Strip. So the Palestinians are saying that a Palestinian state is the only way out of the war, and Israel will finally come to that conclusion, so says the prophecy. Now let me remind you, I talked about this the other day, but let me remind you. July 24th, 1984, Dmitry and his entire family were expelled from Romania. He arrived August the 3rd. Look at this. Look at this date. This is important. Remember this date. August 3rd, 1984, they arrived on American soil. If you add 40 years to that, that comes up to 2024. Now, I do not know that anything specific is going to happen on August 3rd of 2024, but brothers and sisters, you can bet your booties I'm going to be watching August 3rd. I've got it circled on my calendar, and I recommend you do too, because that may be the day that the internal revolution starts, because that is what Dmitry was told. The angel said the fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America started by the communists. I think the start of the communists is probably what happened in 2020 with the election, and then the continued attacks on Donald Trump. And my guess, this is just a guess, my guess is that someplace along the line, they're going to arrest him. When they put the cuffs on him, the military is going to say, hold it. That's it. That's the sign we've been looking for, and we're not putting up with any more of this. And then they go in and they take it over. Some of the people start fighting against the government be busy with internal problems. Some of the people, well, that's not just Americans, that's the 6 million people that come across our border in the last 2.5 years. Then from the oceans, Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, Mexico, and 2 of the countries will attack and defeat America in 1 hour. God will raise up China, Japan, and many other nations. They defeat the Russians. They backed them to the gates of Paris where they signed a peace treaty, but they make the Russians their leader. Then, with the Russians as the leader, they go down to attack Israel. That's Armageddon. That's what it's talking about. In other words, Israel is never going to be defeated, ever. One more point here. Benjamin Fulford says the U.S. is headed for a gunfight at the OK Corral. What he's saying is that there's a battle between light and darkness. Right now, we agree. There's a battle between Lucifer and God, or Satan and Jesus. He says the undeclared civil war in the U.S. is headed for a showdown that will involve lots of nighttime shootouts. On one side, the Satanists have used Google, etc., to compile a list of Americans who they want to kill in order to stay in power. On the other side are patriots with a list of over 1 million sealed indictments they want to act on in order to liberate the U.S. from satanic rule. Now, I do not know that this is accurate, but I believe it to be so. And this is a map showing where the indictments for some bad guys, and you can find this at this website right here, some bad guys are supposed to be rounded up. So it says here that there's 50,000 unsealed indictments. There's 410,000 that still also remain sealed. 767,000 not sealed, and it tells you all of the details right here. Supposedly, These are the people that the bad guys plan to round up. Now, rest assured, the good guys have a roundup list, but so do the bad guys. And you can probably bet my name is on the list of the bad guys. Bad guys want to round me up, but I believe God is going to protect me, and I believe He's going to protect you too. Anyway, so enough of that. Let's go on to the next point. Now, let me tie this together. I've covered this many, many times, and hopefully you've got this written down someplace. If you have not, you should write this down. Now, these dates over here are my guesses, but we'll see. But it does appear that those guesses are probably true or very close to it. So anyway, we know that Israel will give the Palestinians a state, but it'll be a temporary measure to allow the Israelis time to strengthen the military. How do they strengthen the military? Oil will be discovered. The oil does two things, actually. It makes the Jews willing to fight for the land, and it also gives them the money to build up their military. Then Israel and America will go against most of the rest of the Arab world. That's not Armageddon. That's not World War III. World War III is already involved. Of course, if you read Daniel, you see there's actually a lot of conflicts in the last 3.5 years. Okay, now let's tie that together with the next one. Now this was 2002. Now let's jump to 2006. She was told Omer ushers in Palestinian state. Now someone sent me an email today and had a good point. Said that the list of hurricanes for next year, one of the names is Omer, O-M-A-R. Now, she heard these spoken to her. So we do not know if that's the correct spelling. We do not know if that's the counting of the Omer, the 49 days between first fruits and Pentecost, which next year will be April 25th through June the 13th. We do not know that. So let's keep our mind open. That could be Omer. That could be a hurricane that hits. I think that's not as likely as Omer, the counting of the Omer. And then catastrophe. Now, I always thought that that's probably an earthquake. However, Operation Catastrophe is the setting off of some 35 suitcase nukes all across America. One of America's greatest times of need, America calls for help from the entire world. Israel says, no, I'm not going to help you. Why? Because we just cut them in half. Then Israel is attacked. The Arabs obviously say, hey, wait a minute. America's down. America didn't help, Israel didn't help America. They're mad at each other right now. Good time to attack. So Israel is attacked. America sends troops and chaos reigns as Americans protest help to Israel. That should not be. Every Christian in America should be supporting Israel. As I said, Genesis chapter 12 says, I will bless them that bless you, and I will curse them that curse you. Doesn't make any difference whether Israel is right or wrong. We always support Israel. Sometimes they're wrong, sometimes America's wrong, but we still always support Israel. Then finally, she says she heard my voice, quoting Dimitri Duduman, the fall of America will start with an internal revolution. Now, this is not the order she heard them. She actually heard Israel refuses help to America first. So if you want to know the exact order she heard them, that was moved up here, and then the rest of the order is all correct. I put it down here because that makes more sense. But we do not know the exact order. But the point is, these are the 6 events leading up to the internal revolution. So if August 3rd of 2024 is the date, or even the year 2024 is the date that the internal revolution starts, we're going to be able to see it because we're going to start seeing these other newspaper headlines before then. And they are confirmed that those are accurate. And I've told you that story, so I move on now. This is the point I wanted to get to for today. Again, I'm just guessing. God has not told me the exact order, and I probably got some things out of order, maybe missed some things that need to be on here. But this is the way I currently see it. I see that the financial system in America could, and reports are that it's supposed to collapse this Friday. Now, as I record this Tuesday afternoon at 1:35 on 12/14 of 2023, it hasn't happened yet. I did just check with my white hat banker, and he says they are saying it's supposed to happen. He said, but he's seen no physical movement to show that it is. So we do not know, but nevertheless, that's something to watch for. We're watchmen, we watch, okay? Then in 2024, my guess is we'll see the BRICS asset-backed currency come online. We know that's going to happen. Then dollar will be circumvented by many nations. The dollar falls instantly, the prophecies say. First 30%, 50%, down to 66%, then 0. Second quarter, my guess is that Omer is actually the counting of the Omer. Well, it might not be that, but that's my guess right now, which is the 49 days between first fruits and Pentecost. Then, Omer ushers in Palestinian state as the headline. America twists Israel's arm. Israel concludes with them giving the Palestinians a state. Probably the very next day, God will hit America with a new Madrid fault, maybe more. But then, keep in mind, Operation Catastrophe is 35 suitcase nukes hit America all the same day. And I got 34 prophecies. I think that's interesting. Maybe there's another prophecy missing out there. Make 35 prophecies, 35 nukes. I don't know. But anyway, 34 prophecies now say it's going to happen. Then third quarter of 2024 could be when the internal revolution starts. And it could be the return of Trump as king of the new Republic of the United States. Not as president, but as king. Remember, he's recently said if he was king for just one day. I heard that and I thought, oh, I know why he's saying that. I think that's what he wants, and that's what it would take. Because a president has limited power. Only the power that the people give him and then the other two houses give him. But a king, like Daniel says, this is talking about King Nebuchadnezzar, whom he would, he slew. Whom he would, he kept alive. Whom he would, he lifted up. And whom he would, he put down. That's the power of a king. And that's what it would take to try to turn America around. Fourth quarter 2025, that might be when Russia attacks and destroys America in 1 hour. I want to believe that we've got a couple of years after the internal revolution starts. That's what I want to believe. That might not be the case, but that's what I want to believe. Now let's go to Chris Reed. Just tie this in here. So we know that the dollar's going to fall by 1/3. Many prophecies on that. That makes sense that the headline would be U.S. dollar drops 30%, as in what Maurice Sklar and Daniel Coverstone were both shown. U.S. Middle Eastern oil is what causes that they strike a deal with China instead of the United States, which, by the way, just got signed this past week. The perfect storm, inflation reaches a new high. People can't make their car payments, can't make their house payments. Remember what WEF says? By 2030, you won't own anything, but you'll be happy. Why? Because they own everything. Why? Because they throw a terrible, terrible depression, like the likes like probably our generation has never seen before. And as a result, people lose their houses, lose their cars, and guess what? These guys come along with massive amounts of money, and they just sweep it all up, and they own and control all of it. Food shortage, crisis as wheat and bread imports are at a stalemate. Riots, that's straight out of what Shane Warren said. He even said he saw signs of them holding up, we want our entitlements, we want our entitlements. And it's using exactly the same words, entitlements. Israeli and Palestinian two-state solution reached. So all of this, my guess is, we're going to be able to tick these off. As 2024 comes in, we're going to be able to say, that happened, that happened, that happened. Okay, so that says we're right here. If you have not written this down, I think you're making a terrible mistake. You need to write these down. Matter of fact, even better, if you'll get the book, God's Warnings to America, prophecyclub.com, it already has all this written down for you except for the new stuff like this. Major earthquake hits the middle of the U.S. That may be catastrophe, or it also could be the 35 suitcase nukes. And as I look at this, I don't see anything that says suitcase nukes in this list. But there's other lists that do include it. America in pieces. States secede. I can tell you right now, Texas has been talking about seceding from the Union for a long time. That does not surprise me. U.S. military takes charge. There's your internal revolution. Then, new cell phone. He said he saw a new currency for a new renewed nation. I've been telling you that, remember the little 9-year-old boy had a dream? And he said he saw that we would have a new cell phone. Only it's not a cell phone. Can't make phone calls with it. This is only designed to buy and sell. That's a digital currency. Because that's got to happen. He causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark on the right hand and their forehead. And that no man might buy or sell, save he had the mark of the name of the beast, except they have the digital cell phone. And You don't get the digital cell phone unless you get the mark right there or right there, one or the other. U.S. military takes charge. There's your internal revolution. Then you see a new currency come out. And that fits with what Jason Meeks said. He saw that there would be like Trump coming back into charge, great rejoicing, and then suitcasing it go off almost at the same time. My point is, get prepared. Get prepared. If you don't, ask yourself, if I can't leave my house for, say, 3 days, no, 3 weeks. No, it's not 3 months. Yeah, that's probably closer. Maybe even 3 years. If you can't leave your house because maybe there's a bug outside, or maybe you've been told you can't leave your house, maybe there's martial law out there and there's curfew, you can't leave your house. If you can't leave your house for a long time, do you have food? Do you have water? Do you have what it takes for you to stay in your house? If not, I'll send you to Joseph's Kitchen. And this is, I had bread for breakfast today. I had leftovers for lunch, but most of the time it's homemade whole wheat bread that I made. I'm getting pretty close to 200 loaves I've made now. Anyway, so let's go on. Also, if you need to get gold and silver, or if you have an IRA or a 401k, these guys, their big forte is helping you to keep, my understanding is to keep your IRA, to keep your 401k, but to have it in your hands in physical held gold or silver. Give them a call. See what they can do. Look, if you got some 401k and an IRA, I mean, you could lose it overnight. It's just like the stock market, or just like the dollar. It's all about to fall to, well, worthless as leaves blowing in wind. But if you got your IRA, you got your 401k in gold and silver, you're in a much better position. Now, I'm not giving financial advice. I can't do that. But these guys can. Give them a call. Say, okay, here's my situation. What do you suggest I do? And there's their phone number right there, 800-200-4653. 800-200-4653. So what is an EMP Shield device? It's a device you can put on your car and your house that in an EMP attack is supposed to stop the attack. And if you go to empshield.com, and if you use the promo code Prophecy, they give you a $50 discount. They also have videos up there, shows you how to install it on your car and your house and everything, and it's not difficult at all. I've got one of them right here. Red goes to red, black goes to black, green goes to the car, body of your car, and you just peel it off the back, stick it under there. Got another device that goes on your house. So, not complicated. Take you about 10 minutes to put them in. So, empshield.com, promo code is Prophecy.